Good afternoon, and thank you very much for joining me for today's webinar session. My name is Tracy Barden, and I am the Senior Client Relations and Training Consultant here at Lonsec, and I'll be taking you through today's Lonsec iRate, the overview training session today. Before we begin, if you are having any trouble hearing me, or I'm just going to share my screen right now, so you should be able to see the main dashboard. So if you are having any issues, please can you type me a message on the message panel and I'll be able to get to that. So if you're having any audio issues or if you can't see my screen, just please let me know. As we move through the site today, it is broken down into a number of different modules, and there will be a lot of information to take in. So if you do have any questions, you can type them on the message panel throughout, or I will leave some time at the end of the session for any questions that you may have. I'm just going to give it another moment or two so that everyone has a chance to log in and get settled before we start on the overview session. So if everyone is ready for me to begin, we'll go through the session today. So once you log in to your Lonsec iRate, this is the main dashboard that you will see. So you have your list of modules, and obviously depending on your subscription, you'll have your list of modules all featured across the top bar here. You'll also see if there's any up and coming information about different areas across the banner here. So different information will be promoted on this banner here. On your dashboard then, you will see the latest research. So what this shows you is, so it's broken down under funds, equities, listed income, and some retire papers. So this will give you the latest research. And this is the very same information that if you receive the 5 p.m. bulletin with all the research, if there's any rating changes, it's the very same information in here. And you can simply click on this and it will take you into one of the research reports. So that works in the same way for our equities, our listed income, and then for Lonsec Retire, we also have, if we have blogs on here, any recent documentation. Also, you have my recent activities. So if you are anywhere in the site and you get called away to a meeting or a telephone call, this My Recent Activities will store the last 10 places that you visited on the site, so you can jump straight back in. So for example, if I want to jump back in here, I was in portfolio construction with stocks. This should take me straight into where I was previously. So it takes me right back to what I was working on. And then we also have, so that was My Recent Activities. And then also on the dashboard, we have our Lonsec Pulse initiative that was brought out later last year. So what this is it's like a conversation hub where professionals in the financial services industry can come together and share their insights and ideas. And again, they can also join in on different conversations. So if you jump in here, so there's different ones that we previously had. So we have, if it's also a way of contacting us, if you couldn't get a contact, you can also contact us through here, or you can also jump in on a conversation that may also be going on. So that's our Lonsec Pulse initiative. Also, you'll see on the bottom of this screen, we also have, so on the Lonsec TV, this is where we promote like a webcast from our equities team just on the markets every month. And then we also have a poll on here. So these can change just to gain some feedback from our clients. You will also see there's features up here that I'm going to go through as well. So the workbench. So this is a site-wide tool. And if you click onto workbench, you'll see it's broken down into funds, equities, and listed income. So if you click on different products on different parts of the site, it will store those products that you've clicked on. And then in turn, you can use those products to send them to different parts of the site. Again, depending on your subscription, but if you have the tools, you can send those funds straight into portfolio construction and begin your portfolio construction process in a matter of moments. You can also save a product group, which I'll show you also from here, and you can also download the latest research reports as well. Just also clear your workbench as you move along. You will see there's a home icon here as well that will just take you back to the dashboard at any point. And also you'll see your under your username. Now, depending on what screen you're using, if you're on a tablet, sometimes the resolution could be that little bit smaller, so you might have to zoom in or out. But these menus are going to be slightly tweaked in the next coming weeks. But if you come under the username, or sometimes you might see it featured as menu, just click on here. You'll also see information on your account. So if you wanted to change any details, to change an email address, or you change company, you can do so in here, change your details, and then update them. You also have access to My Product Groups. So I'm going to show you how to create a product group, which is like a core list of products that you may research frequently, for example, an APL. So if I click on Load Existing, I can go into my existing product groups, and I would always come into this part of the site should I want to make any changes on a product group, maybe tidy up a product group, or I could also add to an APL. So you would come in here. And the final point I just want to show you on the features here, My Alerts. So if you're not receiving bulletins or communications from Lonsec, just come in here to My Alerts and make sure you have the tick box over on the far right. Make sure they're all ticked and updated. So if you'd like to receive, so the newsletter and bulletins, sometimes we have an AM and PM bulletin. So the PM is for the Lonsec research. Just to make sure you are getting any of those updates sent to you, make sure you have the tick box here, and you'll receive any rating changes. So if particular products are, they've gone from recommended to highly recommended, then you will be alerted. Also, with the, depending, for example, a fund rating alert. So if you have a product group, for example, if you have an APL and you have it ticked for to receive the alerts, should one of those products contained within your product group be upgraded or downgraded, you'll be alerted on this, and if you wanted to make any changes to your product groups. So it's just really, really good to keep you informed and keep you up to date with all of the latest research news, I guess, and ratings. So I'm just going to click this home button. You can also click on the iRate as well. So just to take you back here, and I'm just going to show you how the site is broken down. So you have your market all the way up until, like I mentioned, Lonsec Pulse. And how it's designed is that the market area of Lonsec iRate, this is where it will give you some context and background pretty much on what's happening in the wider markets and also asset allocation. So you would do your back-end research. You would come on then to funds research, where you would go about selecting your products. So funds could be equities and listed income. So these two tabs here would contain the products that you're going to add into possibly a portfolio. When you're ready to design your portfolio and construct it, you would come into Advisor Tools, come into your portfolio construction, and that's where you can add these selected products that you want, and then you can go from there to create portfolios, run specific reports. You can also do comparisons, and then in quantitative analysis, you can do further performance charting. The resource hub then, so as you will know for registering with the site, this is like where you can come for like a help center, or if you're looking for documents, we have a document center, like a glorified library. We also have Lonsec TV about our webcasts and different videos we have from team members. Training, so where you would have registered for today's session is in here, and we also have a fully loaded help center in here. Investment solutions then, so we also have a team who look after our Lonsec investment solutions. and also if there's anything to do with managed accounts or SMAs that you want to express or have an interest in, we can certainly get you speaking to that particular team on this. And also your Lonsec Retire, this tab then, so this is all about we work with Milliman to produce Lonsec retirement papers, and they're all contained within here. And we also produce blogs and different podcasts, and also we have a GBA, so a goals-based analysis tool for running you through different scenarios in relation to retirement. So that's how it's broken down in the site. It's like a process. So I'm just going to jump in here to market and just show you an example. So we produce market reports, different intervals throughout the month. The month in review, so this comes out around the 7th of the month. So it's a snapshot of the latest market moves for the previous month. So it contains all of that information in here. It's about 4 or 5 pages. So this would have been the latest one for December. We also have our flagship publication. So this is our investment outlook report. A little bit more lengthy, and there's a huge amount of context in here. But this is our investment outlook report. Again, it's gaining some context from the wider, I guess, markets, so domestic and international in here. And you can also get information apart from all of the different sectors. You can also get information as well about our asset allocation, so from our consulting team in there. So that's one for at your leisure. That's about 60 odd pages. We also produce in-house the client summary and the market update. So these are like a condensed summary of the month in review report and the IOR. So we've taken summaries from here and designed these specifically for, these are specific for your clients and for advisors. They're just a little bit easier to digest. So that's your client summary, and also the market update is similar context, but just projected a little bit differently. We have charts and graphs in here, but it's the same context on the sectors. So again, these reports very useful to add with an SOA and with a one-page fund profile for your research as well, and very easy to digest. So that's just a quick look at market. Also, we have in here, just going to highlight, so investment strategy, anything from our consulting team and also research team will produce a number of different articles in our investment strategy. Just click on this again. So you'll be able to access Lonsec strategic research reports in here. So there'll be a number of different reports in there. And also really, really important area in here, this is our asset allocation. So you'll be able to view the current asset allocation for the 6 different risk profiles from secure all the way to high growth. And you can also, the reporting date is quite flexible. You can also go back for each quarter. Okay. You will notice as you move through the site as well that you'll see export buttons along the bars. So if you want to export to Excel, to Word, to PDF, and also print options, they'll be there just to assist you along the way. So we do the risk profile with and without alternatives. And just to make it easier, so we have your strategic asset allocation, which is 2 years reviewed, and your dynamic, which has replaced tactile. So that's every quarter. Okay. Another key feature in here would be your market indices. So under this page, this is where we'll be able to review current and historical month-end index returns. And again, you'll see the intervals from 1 month all the way to 10 years. Click on this reporting date and you can go back to the end of November, the end of October, and so on if you want historic, and then you have an export to Excel straight away. So you will see that the major index is listed here on the left and all your performance here, and you can simply export that in one simple click. So that's pretty much most of the market tab. I'm going to go on to funds now. This is where you probably will spend a lot of time, is in our fund research. So in here, this is where you can access almost 10,000 different products. So all of the research reports on here between managed funds, SMAs, ETFs, superannuation, and more on those. So as you come in here, and all of the pages, so equities and listed income will also be designed in the very same way, just make it easier for navigation. You have a search gray column on the left, and then you'll have your display results all on the main screen here. So you can see you have a search panel and you have a white space. So in here, you can search by a product name. So if I wanted to go just type in Magellan, it will give me a prompt for some of possibly products that have previously been researched. Simply click on this magnifying glass, or else you can click on search. And this will give me all of the products that contain, it's a word search. So in case you're wondering if it's like a particular sector, like a product search or anything like that, it's actually, it will search for any product with the name Magellan in here. So I have a search result of 49 products. If I wanted to limit that and I just want the headline or parent funds, click on headline funds only, click search again, and this should then limit my results. So now I just have 10 products here. And again, you'll see the different headings. So you have code, product, rating, asset class, sector, subsector, documents. So these are all your research documents here. For example, you have your one-page fund profile. So just click on these icons and these open up for you. That's your one-page snapshot. That's probably the most popular research report. You have your two-page viewpoint. Again, it contains that little bit more context in here. And Lonsec operate on an 80-20 research methodology, where it's 80% qualitative and 20% quantitative overlay. There's a key paragraph in here, Lonsec's overall opinion of this fund. So should there be any rating change or a change on the actual report, this will provide you with further conviction as to why there may be a further rating change. So that's great information there. The third research report then is the fund review. So when our analysts go out to review the manager, these are the findings. So these are about 9 to 10 pages. And then the final report you have, so this is annually, this is your sector review report. So covering off the entire, in this case, global equity sector. So they're the quick links to your research reports. Also, another way to search for a product. So if you want to go by an API or code, so you could do FID, just some of the ones that come to mind. So you just type in your API or code, click on search, and this will return your product. So here I have the Fidelity Global Equities Fund. And you can do that with a number of different API or codes if you wanted to create a product group. And I'll just show you quickly how we can do that. So I'm just going to grab an example. So just as an example, if you have a number of API or codes or products on an Excel or Word document, I'm just going to take a couple less. Just going to copy and paste these. So you just copy from your API or code. Just come back then. It's going to clear this. So I'm going to paste all of those in here. I'm just going to clear that. Click on search. And this should return, I think we've chosen about 5 or 6. So this has given me the 5 products. So these 5 products are going to be key for my research process. So I want to store these as a product group. So I will select all of these by clicking select all, or you can click them here. Once I have them in my selected, so this is my results. Once I click selected, which then move up to this area, it unlocks all of these features along here. And also I can create my product group. So I'm just going to call this APL Jan. Just click create, and you can also add to an existing one either. You have your product group. It's just advising that it's been created successfully. I can now clear all of this. I can go up to the top right-hand corner, just up to my settings, go to my product group. I want to actually see what's in my product group now. So here I have my APL January 18. Let's just click on that just to see what details are in here. So here I have my settings, and it was created by me. And you can also share this with other team members who have a Lonsec iRate login if you wanted. Should be a list. Sorry, I'm just going to remove those ones. But also you have your 5 products in here. If you want, so if you see these arrows, just push these back. It will unlock more features. You can also add products in here. So if you wanted to add some more to this group, you could add shares, listed income, or a benchmark, all depending. You have a rename, save as, delete, export, print, or you can also send these products to different parts of the site. So you could send these to quantitative analysis and run performance charts. So it just saves you toggling back and forth. So these 5 products are in my group. Now I'd like to download the research on them, but I don't see any option here. So what I can do is I go back to my fund research, and I'd like to retrieve this product group that I've created. So I'm just going to make sure everything is cleared. I'll come down here, and you can see there's a number of different filters in here. So I'm going to go to product group. Gives me a white box to type in a name. It could come up if it's one of the recent ones, but I'm just going to put in APL Jan. Just click on this one, click on search, and this has retrieved my 5 products. Now I can do my research on all of these. I have all the documents here. Another feature I'm just going to show you as well, if I select all of these, as I said, once you have products selected, you can move across all of these tabs. I'm just going to show you quickly 1 or 2 of the useful ones from this session, as when we cover off the fund research in our second training session, which will be next week. We focus heavily on the fund research, so we go through all of these features, but just the common ones would be, so if I go into profiles and I want to download these 5 profiles in bulk, so just as one attachment and not 5. So click on profiles and they appear on the screen. And then just come up to the next bar, you can download in Word or PDF. So I'm going to click download in PDF. It then gives me the option to download all profiles, which means all together in one bulk or separately here. So you would click on the all profiles and you would get all 5 in one PDF document. So again, saving you some time and really, really beneficial feature there. Just going to another just quick one up here, performance and prices. Really, really useful one for getting all of the performance for your particular investments. And you can certainly export these at a glance. So if you click on export to Excel or to Word, I'm just going to show you, for example. So I have all the performance and I'd like to export this. So I have my Word document here. When I click export on this, so what this cleverly has done for us, and you'll see highlighted in bold, it has now attached the benchmark to the particular products. So that saves you going researching what particular benchmark is tracking against whatever product. So that's really, really handy as well that that's added in there for us. Okay. I'm just going to clear those sections as well. So, and you can also, without typing in names as well, you can also drill down through the asset classes. So if you just want to look for Australian equities with a highly recommended rating and so on, you can certainly go through these features and just look for particular investments there. So it all depends on how you're going to carry out your research. I'm just going to pop those filters back. Also, another feature I'm just going to show you quickly is investment structure. So if you're unsure of where particular products sit, for example, like ETFs, although we have now designed them to give them a certain page if you're just researching the ETF space. But if you're on the same page and you want to look for ETFs, so come in under investment structure, and this will show you if you want to obviously just look for a particular type of product. So if you just want ETFs, just tick on there. Or if you wanted LICs, or you just wanted superannuation, or whatever product you're looking for, and you wanted to just tailor it for just those specific types of products, then you just simply come in here, for example, like ETFs, click on search, and this should give me just the ETF universe. So we just have ETFs 164 that we cover. Okay. I'm just going to show you our equities research and listed income. So both these offerings, and as you'll see, as we go in here, it's the very same layout. You have your search on the left-hand side, and you have your results on the main screen here. So for example, we cover off the ASX 200. So we have 200 products here that we provide research on. If you wanted, you could type in the name of the company, or you can use the actual ASX code. So if I do some of these codes, click the magnifying glass or search. This should give me my 4 products that I want to, not products, my stocks that I want to research. So I have my BHP, my Commonwealth, my Wesfarmers, and my Woolworths. As you can see, all the different headings here from ASX code all the way down to the documents. So here you have your stock viewpoint, very similar to your one-page fund profile. Just this are 2 pages. All the basic information about your stock. So as I said, it's quant and qual overlay, and this is our approved rating. So this is 2 pages. Really, really useful, very easy to digest as well. If you select, I'm just going to do select all. Once again, you can go through the features up above along here. You can also see your stock viewpoints on the screen, and they become really, really dynamic. So for example, this is our BHP. This is our share price performance. If you wanted, you can hover on a particular data point to get your exact figures. So really, really useful there and very dynamic on the screen. Also, you can search through, so there I'm just going to remove those stocks. You can also use the different rating. So if you just wanted approved stocks, and if you either wanted an income or a growth stream, and then your action signal in relation to being undervalued, fairly valued, and overvalued. Lonsec has moved away from the buy, sell, hold, those traditional settings relating to equities. So their methodology is slightly different. So we've moved away from buy, sell, hold approach, and we're gone for a more long-term. So what to buy? So that's your approved, not approved. Why should I buy it? So your risk profile, is it income or growth stream? And then when should I actually buy it? So your action signal, undervalued, overvalued, and since then we've also incorporated fairly valued. So that's just a little bit about the equities research on the ASX 200. And as I said, very, very simple. You can also create a product group in the very same way. So if you wanted to put those 3, create a product group, it's the very same way. So you can do a core list of equities. And again, we also have a listed income offering. So if hybrids are something you're interested in, come into your listed income research. And again, as you can see, the flow is very, very flawless for going from your funds, equities, listed income, and it's all designed in the same way. Come in here and you can type in your ASX code. So let me just type in a code for one of our hybrids. So here we have our AMP subordinated notes 2. And again, you have all of your headings from ASX code all the way to your documents. So we have that's our listed income IPO review, and also we have our listed income viewpoint. So this is the equivalent, the viewpoint, as the very same as your one-page fund profile snapshot. So it's all your basic information about your particular hybrid. And again, the navigation works the very same way. You could put in multiple ASX codes in here, or you can also search for products using your filters along the left-hand side, going by maybe filter. So if you want to restrict any of those filters on the left. So that's your listed income. The next part of the site then is your advisor tool. So you've gathered all your information, you've gone through the market, what's happening in the markets globally and domestically. You've chosen your funds, your equities and listed income, depending on what products you've chosen. You would come in then to your advisor tools and you want to construct your portfolio with your investments. Come into portfolio construction then. So this is all part of our advisor tool subscription. Click on create new portfolio. So you can choose, by default it's funds and equities. So I'm just going to come in here and just let's do a test one. Let's put in January 2018. You can choose to give your portfolio an amount. You don't have to. Just for this example, let's just give it a dollar value. Sometimes it's good to see your percentages expressed in dollar value. Your asset allocation then. So this prompt is just asking you if you want to choose strategic asset allocation, which is every 2 years, your dynamic asset allocation, or if you want a customized asset allocation. And again, you can see that the allocation changes on the pie chart when I click on this. So we'll just leave it as strategic asset allocation. Your strategy then, so depending on your risk profile outcome, what type of an investor you are or your client. So let's go with growth. Your benchmark selection then. So we use Financial Express as our data provider. So by default, this one just pops up as your Financial Express Unit Trust Peer Group Multi-Asset Growth. You can, if you click in here, you can obviously choose a different benchmark, whichever you choose. You can choose to include alternatives, yes or no. So right now, alternatives hold 17%. If I say no, then that gets rebalanced in. So we can just leave alternatives in there. Use Lonsec Blend. So what this means then is, do we want to use some of Lonsec's recommended products in our portfolio? So for this example, just to give you an idea of what it's going to look like, we'll just say yes. You have a platform filter here. So if you're using platform funds, just from restricting from particular platform, come in here. Say, for example, if you're restricting them by BT Wrap or any of these first choice, you could come in and restrict it by platform filter. And in the same way, if you have a product group filter like an APL, just so you don't invest out of scope and you just stick with your approved product list, you could certainly use your product filter as a restriction in here as well, that you only use those specific investments. So they're the features that you have to populate. You have your pie chart here and your allocation along here with your percentages in line with Lonsec's strategic asset allocation model. I'm just going to click create, just to give you an illustration of what this will look like. So again, you'll always have your settings over here on the left, and these are fully changeable if you want. You can increase or decrease the amount or change the name. It's not locked in. So all of these are your settings. And here we have, because we've chosen Lonsec Blends, here we have our portfolio details under the different sectors. So your Oz equities, your global, property, fixed interest, alternatives, and you have a cash portion. Gives you the sector, the rating, your ICR percentage, the weight in line with, so we have 25% in Oz equities, and how this is broken down as per our strategic asset allocation, and then that's expressed in a dollar amount in line with the amount we've chosen here of 500,000. So that's an example of what you can create. I'm just going to show you now, there's a number of other features. Should you want to register for another session, we do focus on the advisor tools specifically, where we get very heavily involved in just the advisor tools area. but I'm just going to give you an example of the portfolio reports that you can generate from here. So from here, the default is your client report. We've also added as a feature that you can pop in market commentary. So this is taken from our month in review. So just so you have the latest movements on the market for the previous performance reporting date. So as at we'll say December returns. So you have the market commentary for December in there. Your portfolio product profiles, so you can also include them rather than going back and downloading research separately. So if you're doing a portfolio and you want to include all of the one-page snapshots, you click on here and that will include as well. And then we also have an asset allocation separate report you can generate. So with these settings, I'm going to leave the reporting date as at December, advisor name. We can give it a client name. And benchmark if you want to change it, and then your export format, PDF or Word. So I'm just going to click generate, so that's just going to take just a couple of moments. Okay, so this has just generated for us. So here you have your Lonsec portfolio construction. So this is your report, your client report. As you can see, the Lonsec brand is here. If you have a subscription to Advisor Tools, and if you do want, when you generate these reports, possibly your company's logo that we can feature on the top right-hand corner, we just need to receive this in a JPEG format, and we can have this featuring on your reporting. So you have your basic details, and you have your returns after fees. So you can see that these are as at November 2017, and I'll show you that the reason why in quantitative analysis in a few moments. So these are your performance returns after fees. You have a number of the charts. So some of the most popular charts. So you have a growth of 10K, and you have a snail trail. You have your asset allocation breakdown and a risk return. We also provide you with the frequency distribution of excess returns. You have your quartile chart here. We have regional analysis for distribution, as you can see, and the top 10 holdings. And then on page 3, you have condensed version of the entire portfolio that you've created. So that's just an example of your client report that you can generate. As I say, there's nothing further to be done with that. There's a lot of development coming in this year in relation to choosing the charts that you want from quantitative analysis and so on. So you can really tailor these particular reports to your clients' needs as well. So that's just an example of the reporting. I'm just going to come back to the portfolio details. So this particular portfolio we've created. Now, as I said, you'll see these arrows. Push them back and you'll see a number of different features along the way. So I just want to see why the performance was as of November and not December. So I can simply click on quant. This will take my portfolio straight into quantitative analysis, just so I can see the growth history available. So here I have in the quant section. So we have my January 2018 portfolio, and you can see a plus. For this particular portfolio at that level, I have a data period of July 2015 to November 2017. So if I wanted to run reporting at a portfolio level, that would be the common data period. If I want to expand to see the holdings, I can click on the plus, and I can see all my investments in here. Now you can see there's a red bar down here, so I think immediately means like a warning. And if I come up here to the red in the holdings, I can see that this Partners Group Global Value, excuse me, fund. So this has the returns as at November. So this is the one that's actually causing me to only be able to run reports as at November. So we obviously haven't received the latest performance figures from the manager. You can also click on the trash can if you want to remove that to run performance to a different date as an option. So at present, excuse me, at present, then the common data period is July 2015 to November 2017. So over here on the left, again, you have your settings, and I can calculate at a portfolio level, or also I can display the underlying funds. I'm going to show you both options just at a very high level. So if I click all of the charts available, and again, there's further settings for different intervals. I'm just going to click Generate Charts, just so you get an idea of what's actually available. So you can see there's a number of charts, and these are all the ones listed here. A number of charts, again, depending on your subscription, some of them can vary. Some will be displayed as a chart, and some will also be, or a graph, and some will also be in a table format. So for example, you'll see your growth of 10K, and feel free to click on this chart just to make it a little bit more dynamic. You can see your portfolio tracking against the benchmark, excuse me, tracking against your benchmark. If you wanted, you can also get this in table data by clicking up here to table data, and you just get all of the figures in here. There's a full definition on every particular chart, and you can download the image, the chart image, if you wanted it for PowerPoint or something like that. So that displays like that particular graph. Then you also have, for example, your period returns. Click on this table, and you can see obviously your portfolio with your performance and your benchmark. If you wanted to display this as a chart, then simply click on chart, and here you have it as a chart. So again, it's fully dynamic, very intuitive. It's very, very flexible as to how you want to actually display your performance data. That's at your portfolio level. If I do click on this option and click display underlying funds, run my charts again, so click generate and show you those two charts, they will look very, very different. So just wait for those to generate. So now we have incorporated our underlying, so all of the underlying funds. So for example, we'll just look at my growth of 10K. Suddenly becomes a lot of lines. So if you want, you can also click on these down here if you want to remove some, just so it becomes a little bit clearer. It's fully interactive. So this is your growth of 10K, obviously incorporating all of these holdings. And again, you can have it in table format if it's a bit easier to read. And the same for, as an example, your period returns. So you have a lot more, obviously, holdings to report on in here, and you can also have it in a chart. So that's just an example of what's available in some of the tools along the way. As I said, the Resource Hub, so the Document Center, this is like somewhat of a central library. If you're looking for a certain report, you could type a name in here, or you can also go to the filter and type and come in here to see what type of report you're actually looking for if you can't remember where to find it on the site. The training, as I said, if you wanted to subscribe or register for any further training on the different areas, please feel free to jump in and register on one of the sessions. And we also have a help center. So if you get stuck and you'll find that this little guy follows you around the site, a little help guide. So just type in a keyword. If you wanted to type in product group, click on search, and it just gives you the top results. So by creating a product group, and it will bring you to a page where there's further information. And then if you want to, I'm just going to leave our contact details up on screen. So we have a fully dedicated iRate team. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us on our 1300 number. We also have a dedicated support inbox for any queries that you may have. I'm just going to leave that on the screen. That's everything I'm going to cover off. As I say, there is a lot of information to take in on today's session, and thanks very much for your for attending. If you do have any questions, as I say, please feel free to reach out. But I just want to say thank you very much for your time today, and I hope you found the session to be beneficial and that you have some key tips that you've taken away from it. So thank you very much.